Hello and welcome to Crafting with Jane. I've decided that with obviously the box that we've been making, we finished the box and now I've got lots of bits and pieces left over. So I thought I would do something using some canvas. So this is a canvas board which I picked up a long time ago, and it was I think it was £1, maybe a couple of pounds. And it is 7 inches in width by 9.5 inches. So it's a solid canvas board, which means it'll take a lot of water and things like that. I'm using the scraps, or some of the scraps that I've got over. So I fancy having one here and then 3 down the side. I'm going to use some stencils and I'm going to build it up because it's going to be, I'll put a little thing on the back and probably have it on the wall. So to start off with, I want to have some colours and things on here. So I've got some re-inkers, and I'm literally just going to splodge some of these about on here. So I'm just doing sort of half in one colour and then half in the other colour. And these are old Stampin' Up ones, and they are, I shall let you know what colours they are. This one is Coastal Cabana, and this one is Primrose Petals. So some old ones and some new ones. I've got a little bit of water and I just want to just sort of spray this about a bit. I love the way, can you see how it sort of diffuses quite nicely? I might have to fill the water thing up actually, because I'm just going to let it sort of sit a bit. I need to get some more water in this, but that's fine. So doing it on a board, you know that you're going to have an awful lot of you can saturate it and it really doesn't matter that much. So I've done that. I need to just fill this up with water. So watch the splats a little bit on there while I just grab some water and fill this up. Right, I didn't realise that I had quite so much that was sort of falling off. So now I've got this with some colours on. I'm going to use some Brusho as well, because I want to have this sort of orangey, really lovely sort of pretty colour. So I'm going to put these up in on here because I want them to all go in together. So that's going to come. Can you see how it's starting to sort of diffuse quite a bit? But I don't want it to run into the bottom. So that's more of the orange, and we can have a bit of the yellow on here as well. So I'm just going to add some of that in on here because we've got quite a lot of colour in. So that's going quite nicely. And then the bottom has got the turquoise, and I think I don't know whether to do any, maybe just a tiny little bit of blue. Don't want too much to make it too dark. So I want to sort of keep the colours going on there. And then I can, let me just put the pin back in. I'm just going to add just a little bit more water in on here so it all starts to move around a bit. Which is rather nice. So I'm trying to get that sort of really pretty sort of look on it, and can you see I'm just trying to move it around a bit. So, and this is why having it on a board, you can take it really quite carefully so you don't, and I don't want it to mix in too much into each other, because then we're going to get sort of a muddy middle, which I don't want. But I do want it to just, can you see how it's sort of moving around quite nicely? So I do quite like that. Okay, I'm going to take and move it a bit with a heat gun as well. So can you see on here how it's sort of moving about on here? Some of this is coming up on that direction. And I can do it so that it doesn't, what I don't want it to do is to get too muddy in the middle. Can you see how it's starting to get a little muddy? So what I need to do is I need to take this out a bit so that I'm not getting it too muddy in the middle, because otherwise, as I say, you just get a blues and oranges and things just make sort of brown, and that's what we don't want. So I'm trying to just give a little bit up on there, and then I'm just going to try and dab some of this just a little bit on here. So we've got the colours coming through, but it's not oh yes, that looks quite nice, doesn't it? Do it. Now it is the sort of thing where you are going to get a little bit mucky, but you know, that doesn't matter too much as far as I'm concerned. You know, it's all part of crafting. So just by doing this on this part and the other. Now I haven't gessoed it or anything like that, which you can do, but I just wanted to have just a bit of a background before we started. So I'm just going to clean that up like that, and I'm going to take my heat tool and just give it a bit of a dry off. If you're doing it yourself, you'd wait, but I am wanting to do it with you, so I don't want to be waiting too long. And the good thing about doing it on a board means that it's not going to, you can do it on heavy card, but if you do it on a board, a canvas, it means that it's not going to, you see this little bit's just there to just spread across a bit, which is quite pretty. So I'm just drying it off a bit. It's not going to be completely dry, but it doesn't matter because we're going to be building up the layers on it. Okay, so hopefully that is going to, yes, you see we're taking the colours from here, and that's what I wanted to do. So I now want to put, am I going to have that this way, or am I going to have it this way? This way, I think. So that's going to go in on there. And that's why I just wanted something round on the background. And then these are all going to go, that's going to come in that corner. That's a nice sort of purple one. And that's sort of a yellow one like that. Okay, so that's going to work quite well on there. So I'm now going to stick those down, because we're just building up the layers, and you're probably going to think, oh, why is she sticking those down now? Because I want it to sort of blend in together. So I need to get my glue, which is here, which is standing on its lid rather than upside down. So I'm hoping there's going to be enough in on here. And also this is still a little wet, but I think we might be okay with a bit of luck. So I'm just going to take this on here. And I'm just gluing this right the way around the side. Now it's like everything, you know, if I was doing this not for video, I would allow each piece to dry, because I think if you let it dry, it will then look better, because it'll go nice and flat. But I think we can get away with it. I think we can get away with it. Okay, so this is then going to come in on here like that. And I'm trying to make sure that that's relatively straight. I'm not very good. You know what my eyesight's like? When I look at something and I go, that's not straight at all, is it? You can see it's not straight. Okay, let me just get this one straight first of all. That's going to come that way, isn't it? That's better. That can go straight onto the canvas. Now I can put this other one in on here. Put it in about there. And then this one is going to go there. But I love the way that the background has actually worked quite well. I didn't want it to be too bright. I just wanted it to be another sort of accent part on there. So this, I think, will work really well. So this one is going to come down in on here like that, about there. And then this one's going to come in like that. And they don't have to be exact. They are literally just little scrap pieces that are left over. So by doing that, it means that I can then have this one there like that. So you can see they're not all exactly straight. Distance between here, distance between there, but that doesn't matter because that's not what we're looking to do. So I'm just going to make sure that I've got this as glued down. It's slightly damp. That's why it's not going down completely as well as it wants. Excuse my dog. It's making silly noises as usual. Okay, now what I want to do is I'm just going to take this stencil because what I want to do is I want to create some lovely... Now, I'm just looking at it to see where and how and what, because I quite like this mandala part, but I want to just, so I'm going to have one coming down like this on here. Now what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to take some white acrylic paint because I want that to come in over the top of this, and I'm going to use a sponge dauber. You can use a piece of sponge. I quite like using a sponge dauber because it's the sort of thing that is quite easy to then, excuse me, let's put that back up on there. It's quite easy then to it's going to give a little bit of colour on, whiteness on there rather than colour. So I just need a bit of a block to just put a little blob of this on. I've just put them, here we go, that'll do. So I'm just going to take a little tiny blob, and I don't want too much because you don't want it to go through the stencil and bleed. So let me just bring this on here so you can see it. So what I'm going to do is just load my brush, the sponge dauber up, so you can see there's some on there but not too much, because what I don't want is for it to all come all over the place. Now I actually want it to come this way in thinking about it, because I want the mandala to come in on the center. So I'm just going to take this, go across like this. I keep just filling up my brush, but I don't want it to be too big. And I'm just doing it in like that onto this one to just see pretty. So I can do it out a bit. Now, I don't know whether this is going to be quite dark enough. I might have to mix it with another colour, I think, maybe. So I'm just doing the first couple on here, and then I can just have a look and see. That's actually quite pretty, isn't it? But it does need to be a little bit darker. So let me just add, I'm going to add a little bit more of it. I'm trying to think whether I should mix something with it to give it a little bit of a darker look. Don't know. Just a little bit left on there. And these, as I say, I picked these up from local pound shops and things like that. That are, if you get small ones, they're very inexpensive. And as I say, then you can just. And I'm just pouncing. Just pouncing up on here, just using a little bit more of the ink, and then I'm going to take it up and have a look. Yes, now you see, I think that's quite nice. I want it to be fairly subtle, and I don't want to be, you know, for it to be too over the top. So I think that's quite pretty like that, which means I want to balance it with another one down on here. So I'm going to take this across. I'm just going, this is actually, I'm taking it up another one on here. Hadn't even thought about that, but I'm going up to this one. Down on here. Back on this one. So some of it's coming across on the paper and some of it's not. But you can see just literally just dabbing it up and down. You'll have it on there. Let's take that one off. Yes, now you see how that is looking. If I take this back on here, how that is starting to build up a pattern on there. I think that's really pretty. I want to take this. I quite like this sort of swirl on here. So I'm going to take that one here. And this is smaller, so it's going to need a little bit more detail. So you need to just sort of press it a little bit more because it's a slightly smaller stencil. So you want to make sure that you've got it all the way through. Oh, you see, that's lovely. Like that very much. And then I'm going to take another one and put that up just about there, I think. And that will take the last bit of this ink on here, I think. And as I say, I'm just literally, hopefully you can see all of that. Can you see all of that? Yes, of course you can. Just standing up to make sure you could. But by doing this, what you're doing is you are taking it in to the paper and to the canvas behind. So you're building up that layer. Okay, let's take that one off. There we go. And, you know, they're slightly messy, but that's the idea. I don't want it to be too uniform. You need to wash your stencil out fairly quickly because obviously being acrylic, it's going to dry. So I'm going to do that straight away while we've got this like that. And you can then see where the colours and things are coming and how we're going to carry on. And then we're going to have I think some of these flowers, but I also want to do some of these, and I might actually just put some of some stamping onto there. So I'm just going to quickly wash those out. You can fast forward it for when I get back. I'm just doing this now. Right, I'm on my way back. I just had to, as I say, if I had a bowl of water at the side, I could have put it in a bowl of water, but I haven't. So I just wanted to make sure that the stencil has cleaned up nicely. It's a bit wet because it needs to dry, but at least I know that it's not going to be ruined with bits and bobs on it. But I've got that stenciling in there, so I think that's quite nice. I'm quite pleased with that. Now I want to do some of this. So this is the, and I could emboss this actually. Might be an idea. Have I got some gold embossing? Because I think that might look quite nice in gold embossing. So this is the flower, which is collector's edition number 68, Leonie's Flowers. So what I'd like to do with this is to just put some of these in. Try and get it out. Put it on this block. I need to make sure this block's clean. Having just washed it. Will it go on there? Oh, it needs to be a bigger block than that, doesn't it? Let me just have a look and see if I've got a long thin one. Love the detail of this stamp. I think it's beautiful. So let me just get a longer, thinner block out of here. This one I think is probably going to be the best one. Oh, I can't get it out of the box. There we go. That's going to work nicely, I think. Okay, so, and I haven't tried this one yet, so I'm hoping it's all going to be perfect. But I think I want it just stamped over. Now, do I emboss it or not, or do I just do it in, I think I'm just going to do it in black and see how it looks, because I can always just add some gold embossing on top, can't I? So let me just get my case out. I do like that one up there. The one down here is a bit oh, look at this. This is going to be lovely, I think. Okay. So what I want to try and do is to put it down in on the bottom like this, I think. So I don't know how it's going to work on a canvas. It might be a bit splotchy, we'll have to see. And if it is, I might just put some gold embossing straight on top and just see. Says me looking to get my embossing out straight away just in case. I think that's, is that gold in there? That one's my gold, isn't it? There we go. Okay, so I'm leaving this for a little while to just see. Oh no, that's lovely. Oh, I like that. I think that looks really pretty. Now, it's not as nice down on there. It's lovely on the paper, but on the canvas, it's not quite so. I wonder if I'm going to try, just have a little go. This is all about experimenting. So when you're doing things, be prepared to experiment and see how it goes. I want to just put some of this embossing on here. I don't think it'll go on there because I think that's probably dried, but it might do. Just a little bit on there and see what happens. So let's take it off like that. I need to give it a good old shake on there because I don't want it to be. I'm going to take it over that way and give it a like that. That's, I think, it's okay. I've got a little bit, can you see on here? Because obviously you can't really use a static bag on there because it's still wet. If you were doing it yourself, you probably could. But I don't think I can because it's still a little bit damp from doing the background. But I just wanted it to be, it's going to be one long video, but at least it's it gives you lots of ideas, hopefully. And I enjoy doing it, and that's the main thing. I keep thinking on, I've had quite a few people have turned round from other channels and things that have come on saying, you know, oh, the YouTube seems to be reducing the amount of views and things that you get. And I'm like, yeah, you're probably right on this, but in the same respect, I enjoy doing what I'm doing. So I think some of this is going to maybe be a little bit splotchy, but we'll see, because I can't get all of it off. So what I'm going to do is I'm hopefully just going to turn gold on here. I haven't done it on a canvas. Oh yes, here we go. I haven't done it on a canvas before, so I know it works on paper, but I wasn't sure how it's going to work on the canvas. Nice. In fact, very nice. Okay. So I hope you can see on there, just bring that up a little bit. Did I have it down on there? Hopefully you could see it off of there. Look at that. Beautiful bit of gold on there. So that's really rather nice. I like that. And I want to now put another one, and I think I'm going to have it sort of down on the centre here. It's difficult to know where to. I just want to sort of add things to it so that it sort of organically grows. And this is the sort of thing that I really enjoy doing, when things sort of organically grow. So let's do this again, and doing it with black, it's quite easy to see. So I'm going to put this in on the center here, I think, like that. And again, I'm just going to leave it to soak in for a little bit, because it's the sort of thing that, because we're doing it on a canvas, so some of it's going to be on the paper, some of it's going to be on the canvas. It's going to be a little bit difficult to make sure that we've got it all. There we go. So most of it's actually off the canvas, which is quite nice. So I'm just going to again put the gold embossing powder over the top, just a little bit like that. And this is quite fine embossing powder. It's Cosmic Shimmer, and it's gold, but you can see how fine it is. Sometimes you get embossing powders and they're quite thick, and the thicker they are, the less likely you are to get a fine look to it. So banging it on here. Now this one I definitely will need to have a little bit of a brush on there, because I've got some bits on the side that aren't quite as they should be. And again, I might have to do 2 videos for this, because I'm just thinking I want to do all of these bits to get some extra texture in there. So this, I'm just going to brush that off. Brush it off on here. Brush that off on there. Brush that off on there. Okay, that should be fine. And then we can do this on here. So again, we're getting that gold look to it. I've got to wait for it to start to... I do love when it just turns. It's one of those things that you never get tired of. And if you haven't tried embossing, you do need a heat tool. Some people have turned around and said, oh, can you use a hairdryer? No, you can't. This is very, very, very hot. So you need a heat tool. But you can pick them up. They're not overly expensive. And then once you've got them, you can do as much as you want on here. So I'm just making sure that every pass of it is gone, which it has. And now we've got another beautiful gold piece on there coming out, which I think looks lovely. Okay, so we've now got quite a lot of the background and stuff going, which is beautiful. Now, what I wanted to do was, I want to have some of these as sort of flowers, I think. And I think I want a sort of a big one somewhere. What I was going to do was to put one like this on here. We could just have it as 4. It's quite a pretty flower, isn't it? Now, do I want to put this in on here? You know, when you're sort of playing around with some ideas and you just want to sort of see how it's going to look. Don't know whether that's going to be right, actually. No, that's not right, is it? Those 4 together look fine. What I do need to do is to have a little circle in here. Whoops, is that stuck to it? I have something stuck to, oh, I've got something stuck to my finger there. Now I've got a little circle one in on here. So I might have that as my centre. And they're not very big, they're only little pieces. And these are all little bits of what we would call waste. Now, I think that I want to use this flower on here. I don't want to gesso it. I quite like the wood effect of this, but I want to have it so that it is it's sort of gold. So I'm going to ink this up again. We want this little tiny one in here as well. So I'm going to move it out of the way. Because I need to just put it, let's put it on here. Now you can gesso them and things as well, but I quite like the look of the wood on here. So I think I'm going to keep it as it is, but I want to emboss it in the gold. So I'm going to take this like that, and then what I want to try and do is to do them all at the same time like this. So hopefully if I put this in straight in on the center like this and give it a good old press, we're going to have this sort of floral thing. And I don't want it to be exact, that's why I'm trying to do it sort of abstract right the way across them, to just see how it comes out. Beautiful. That's gorgeous. That's gorgeous. That, I need to have a little bit of something else on there, don't I? See if I can just take... That's better. So if I take that like that, now I wonder if I put the embossing powder, whether there's any, whether it's stuck or not. I don't know whether it has, because it might have just soaked straight in. We'll have to see. Now this is where I could do with tweezers. Oh, this is going to be lovely. Absolutely lovely. And I'm leaving some of it so that I'm not going to brush it off, so that it's got texture to it like that. Now I do need to take it off of there, don't I? Because otherwise it's going to... Let's just put these on there for now. So they've all got something different on them, which is quite fun. Apart from that centre one, which is fine. Just put that in there. Always make sure you put your lid on, because otherwise if you sneeze or knock it over, you've then got it everywhere. Now, I think this is going to be lovely. And you can see they're all different, and that's what I wanted. I didn't want them to be all the same. So that's why I've put them in, so that you've got a little bit coming out different on each one. So on this, I should be able to just take this out. I quite like the wood, you see. I like the wood, the look of wood. But the nice thing is that you can emboss over VersaFine is right. VersaFine takes a little bit longer to dry, which means that you can then quite easily stamp on it, and then it will come off. So I'm just going to clean this stamp off a bit, because I think that's all I want on there of that particular one. But it's starting to take shape now. Do I just put them on exactly like that? I think I do, actually. Let me have a look and see. So let's take this back. We had it this way round, didn't we? Did we have it this way around, or have I turned it round? I think I've probably turned it round, haven't I? I was going to have the red at the top, and now I've got the flowers coming down at the bottom. That doesn't matter, actually. Doesn't matter which way we have them, does it? But I did want to have this sort of coming up. Maybe it's going to come over here, because I don't want it to come over in like that. Now, do I have it? I think I will have it back up this way, you know, because I want this to come just about there. Now I think that looks quite nice. Now, where was that little circle one? Probably not that one on the floor, haven't I? So let's see if I can find another one. There's a few of the others. I will find the other piece. I'm just like thinking, well, I want to have one in on the center like this. So we can put this on there, and then these can come. I might have, probably should have had 5. Should I have had 5 on here? 5 petal? Can I make it work with 4? Yes, I can. Do quite like that just with the 4. I think that looks really nice. Okay, so part of me is thinking I might actually colour some of this in to give it a little bit more colour. I'm not sure on there whether it's, I think I probably do need to have an extra one in on here. I think I need to have it with 5. Don't I? If I put that with 5, then that's the 5 petals. So I'm going to have to do another one with this. I do like the ones with lots of floral on. And I think, how far have we got on here? Oh, we've done 40 minutes, haven't we? I'm going to stop there for now, and I'm going to do another video of the next stage of it, because it does take far too long to just do one bit at a time. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you're finding some ideas and some inspiration from this. If you bought the kit, I hope that it's something that you will gain some inspiration from. As always, please stay safe and well. Please be kind, and look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye-bye.